Hi, this is Paul with Equipped Expedition Outfitters, and what I'd like to do today is to show you how easy it is to set up a RuumX AluBox divider system in one of our aluminum storage cases. This case is a 42-liter case. We're going to turn it into a kitchen kit. We're going to use the RuumX A042 divider system and put all the pieces in there and show you how easy it is to do. So let's get started. First of all, clean out your case. Now the interior of the case, it's possible to do one of two things. One, you can take the cleaning solution that they provide with the packet here, and you can clean the surfaces, the lid and the floor. And both of these panels, one for the floor and one for the lid, have an adhesive backing on them. You can choose to put that on there, or if you'd rather not put that in there as an installation, you can simply lay the floor in there. Now it's tight enough that it will stay in position on its own, especially now that we're going to be putting things on the top of it. But if you want to secure that down there, that is your prerogative. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to install the perimeter wall. Now what they've done is they've taken the corrugated material here and they've cut the back of it to round out the corners here to help in that installation. So we put that first piece in, simply just lay it in there vertically, push it into the corners, and that will work out great there. Next panel, same panel, just reversed into the other corners. I'll take this, move it down in here, that panel in place. All right, so now our interior wall is in place in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of these stainless steel pins, and these pins are designed to fit in the corrugations of the material. So when you put the pin in place, it will actually hold the material together. So I'm going to slide that pin in place. Now what I mean by that is if you see the material here, there are slots in there. These pins are designed to go in those slots and hold it in place. So if you have one panel on one side, put another panel on the other side, and that connects the two panels together. So now what I've done is I've put these pins in place. I'm going to just put that pin in there, screw it in place. All right, so now what we have in place here is the floor and the interior walls of the system. Now, this is where the fun starts. We have these other pieces of material here that create our dividing system within that interior. The longer pieces are designed to be the same length as the length of the case itself. So that becomes easy if you want to divide it simply this way. That way we put in a pin on each end, that becomes your divider construction. Next, what we do is we take a tape measure, we measure out the areas that we want to fit in here. We take a straight edge and then a razor knife, cut those panels and insert them. Okay, so what we've got is an empty case to start with. I'm going to start laying some things out there to get an idea of the configuration I'd like. We'll start with the pots. Let's put those back here in this corner here. Set those nice and snug here. I think next what we do is we lay out the bowls and plates that'll fit there. Stack a couple cups here. Let's put the mugs behind it, maybe in this location here. Jet boil would go there. And maybe sneak these fuel cylinders right in here in front of it. And then we've got these two little bags, and I'm going to stick those right up across the front here so that I can add some longer things in a pouch if I want to. Maybe some tongs or a spatula or something along that way. So that gives us kind of a spatial feel about what we want to be able to put in there. Okay, well, that's a great idea. I think the first thing that we start with is a panel across the front. So I'm going to take a few things out of here, so it's going to make it a little easier. And we'll add these components back in as we go along and show you how that all starts. Get these out of here. Okay, so now our starting point is across the front. AluBox was nice enough to make one of these panels the proper width to fit it right across there. So if we put that in place like that, want to make sure our pot set still fits in here nice and snug. Okay, that looks like a pretty good fit. So now what we do is we take a couple more of our pins and we pin this thing in place where we want it, right there. Pin in there. And we eye it up to make sure it looks straight across the front. What's nice is if you decide to change your mind about something, well, you just take the pins out and try again. Okay, so now we've got our front position here. We know that it's right here. Now what we want to do is start creating some other sections in here. And how we go about doing that is by taking some of the material that we have and cutting it to length, okay? So what we want to make sure is that we're cutting from foam to foam on here. I'll measure that out, and then I'm going to show you how you cut these items here. And let's go on to that position here. So first of all, I'm going to measure from here to here, and then we'll transfer that onto this material, cut it with a knife, and I'll show you how easy that is. Let's do that. Okay, so what I did is I measured from inside foam to inside foam, found out it was about 8 5/8 inches, right about here. Now the tools that I've got here with me, well, pencil, a straight edge, has a 90-degree edge on it, and a razor knife with a new blade in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out here. Okay, we've got 8 5/8, which is right in line with that hole right there. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little bit of a mark. The pencil isn't going to leave any lead behind, but what it's going to do is indent the foam so I know which one I'm going to go after. All right, and we take our razor edge and line it up right on that mark. Okay, get that out of the way. Next, razor knife. Open that guy up. We're going to hold this in place, and we're going to cut across there like such. Easy enough. Okay, you see how we cut down through the center of that core. Okay, so we're going to do that. But what I know is that because of the design that I have set up, I have multiple systems that I'm setting up in here. We're going to have a couple more of these that I'm going to need to cut to that same length. So I'm going to cut those right now while I have all that material in place and I have my measurement and the whole thing. Keep this stuff because it comes in handy later. But let's make 2 more of those cuts at 8 5/8. This, get our line on here, hold it nice and secure, and if you notice I have my thumb on the back of the material to hold it straight, and give it nice firm pressure against that straight edge and cut it off. And we do one more, go here, line it right there. Our straight edge on that cut. Hold it at the back. Easy enough. All right, so now we have 3 of our corrugations that we can go ahead and put right into the box over here. Now let's do that. All right, so now we have our setup in here. We're going to take our foam material, set it right down there in place. Get it up in there and snug. We don't want it so tight you can't get the stuff out of there, but you want it to be able to hold it in place. So I'm going to say about right there, looks pretty good. We take one of our pins, locate it in the materials, slide it into place here. We eye up another one back here. Oh, that looks crooked. Let's move over one. That looks better. Slide that down in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm leaving the pins up right now and making sure that I get it all where I want, and then I'll go through and I'll push all the pins down to get it in place. Okay, our next system was somewhere for our bowls and plates to go. We do the next piece of material. It's the same length. Keeps those in place. Give it just enough room to get in and out. And we do the same thing again. Get a pin in there, pin in there. We do the same at the back. Pin. Set straight. Pin in there. All right. This last one, we want to make sure that we're fitting well, because we've got a lot more stuff to put in there. Now everything that goes in here does not have to have a divider. Like I could leave this open if I wanted to, but what our goal is to make sure is that our other materials here fit in place. That looks pretty dang good. Take a couple more pins. Pin there. Pin there. That looks pretty good. So I'm wondering if we have enough material. It's a little bit wide. That seems just a bit wide too. So what I've got here is one of these, the takeoffs from our last cut. I'm going to take one of those and pin it in here. All right, that one looks like we're going to need to cut that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my razor knife and edge and clean that up. All right, so I took a piece of that material. It was one of the leftover pieces from cutting this end, made it into a divider here, and now we've got it all set up. Everything comes in and out of there, works just fine as far as what we want. Pot and pan system is in there, comes out nice and easy. We have space above it, goes in there nice and easy, closes down. We put the foam piece on the lid and it'll be in place and perfectly fine there. And it gives us enough extra room on there for, dishcloths or utensils that we want that are bigger across the front there, or a cutting board can lay on the top inside here. We have those available. But it gives you a good idea of what's possible, and this can be used for any sort of things. It could be a camera case. You could divide up your recovery gear in here if you wanted to do that. Drones. Boy, we've had some people come up with some real interesting ideas as far as the layout of something like this. and it's worked out wonderfully for them. I'm excited to have this available to us again, and I hope that gives you some ideas. If you have any questions at all, please let us know. We're happy to help out. I'm Paul with Equipped. Thanks for watching.